Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Serious Cinema from Serious Men. I'm your host Gabe Bradham, and with me today is the Carl Weathers to my Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Tucker Senate. Tucker, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Gabe?
Well, my Green Bay Packers played a cardiac challenging game of football. I'm not gonna lie. At one point, we had to make a
the
field goal.
heart the heart attack pack.
Yes, the heart attack pack, the cardiac pack. We had to make a field goal, and if you've been watching some Packers football this year, making field goals hasn't been our thing. And my mom, who I wouldn't say she's superstitious, I would say she's a little stitious. She was handing out like good luck things, so we had some cookies, and she hands me, I would say, a stack of about six cookies, and I'm holding them in my hands during the kick, and luckily we make the kick, and I pull the cookies up, and they are broken and shattered. And sometimes I don't know my own strength, and I guess I was just kind of squeezing on the cookies as a stress toy. I have this finger brace on, and I went to the bathroom and like opened it up, and cookie crumbs were in it. So I'm doing great. I have a snack saved in my finger brace for later if I get hungry in the middle of this episode. And the pack has won. Tucker, your New York Yankees have punched themselves a ticket to the World Series, and I was so happy for you. I was watching the game, just trying to support you. I got up to cheer and whacked my shin, which is just kind of the personification of our friendship. And I would do it again for you. But I just want to know, how are you feeling about the first time in what, 15 years? The Yankees have made
15
it to a World
years.
Series.
I was a I was an 8-year-old
You were what,
last
37 in 2009? How old were you then? 93? Were you on AARP before they won the World
Yes,
Series or after?
I was on AARP.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, incredible feeling. I was a little emotional, I won't lie.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Well, you're a Yankees fan, you always win." It's like last 15 years have been fucking hard, man.
Yeah, I would like to remind people of the Astros 5 years ago.
Yes.
That was
2 years
heartbreaking.
ago, 5 years ago. uh 7 years ago.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
it's it's just I've been hurt.
Yeah.
So just let me have my moment of catharsis of
All
getting
I'm
there.
gonna say is Giancarlo push. He is the reason you guys are in this World
Yeah.
Series. I just want to say it.
No, he's
Stanton needs that respect. Tucker, who would you rather see in the World Series, the Dodgers or the Mets? I'm not asking what's gonna be more fun. Who do
uh,
you want to play?
I think like yes, talent wise, we have a pretty significant advantage over the Mets, but I don't like playing teams that have that kind of voodoo like I didn't even
Hmm.
Cleveland freaked me out, but not as much as Detroit freaked me out because Detroit had voodoo magic,
Hmm.
just weirdness. The Mets also kind of owned us in the regular season. So I, you know, I don't think one way or the other, we're in for a very difficult series. It's by no means our cakewalk or
Hmm.
anything like that, and anything can happen. So
Yeah.
I can't make a decision. I will be watching patiently tonight. I think I think I would be way more upset if we lost the first World Series we've been to in 15 years to the Mets than the Dodgers. Because
Okay.
the Dodgers,
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's like, oh, good for you. You guys paid $1 billion to get
Yeah.
every single good player in baseball. It's like, all right, whatever. The
Now,
Mets would be disappointing.
on this show, I wouldn't say threatened, promised to streak naked in the streets of Milwaukee, possibly set myself on fire if the Brewers won a World Series. If the Yankees won, are you willing to do something to that effect?
I'd light myself on fire out of joy,
Okay. Okay,
probably.
I'll be clipping just that. It's gonna be like the Florida State thing. But anyways, Tucker, today we have a fun episode planned. Kind of an episode that happened organically. There had been whispers and rumors on Twitter. Yes, Tucker, how can I help you?
I have a few pieces of movie news.
You have movie news? I thought this has been a slow week. Hit me with it. I love it when you have news and I don't, because I get like
But with
my unadulterated
this is
reaction.
this is more movie speculation, but also
Okay.
news. But with the news of Dune Messiah,
Mm-hmm.
the production shifting a little bit in terms of
Yep.
its schedule. this is opened a window for a certain filmmaker to bring in a certain cinematographer for a
Hmm.
certain film that comes out in the 2025 range.
Yes, 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 yes.
Sorry,
What
that's being made in the 2025 range and coming out in 2026, right?
Yeah, yes. What Tucker is referencing is the fact that Tom Cruise is going to get Greg Fraser to shoot Mission Impossible 11,
Nope.
which we're gonna go crazy about. No, no, that's not it. No, Greg Fraser possibly being able to do Batman 2, I think is very exciting. His style is just so thought provoking. I don't know, Tucker. How would you describe it?
It's
If
it keeps you engaged visually. You kind of can't take your eyes off of his movies.
Yeah, I would say the Batman is as dark, lighting wise, as films like Batman vs. Superman. But whereas something like Batman vs. Superman, you couldn't tell what was on screen. The Batman, you know exactly what you're looking at, what it's supposed to mean. Okay, I feel uneasy right now. Well, that's because the camera is tilting, and also because the Riddler has just killed like six people in the darkness. I will say my younger brother Barnabas, my mom was like, "Oh, I'd really like to show you Dead Poet Society because, like, that's a movie that everyone should watch when you're a young man." I agree with that. It's got a lot of important messaging in it. And he was like, "Well, I want you to watch The Batman." And she was like, "Yeah, I'll watch The Batman if you watch Dead Poet Society." Tucker, how do you think my mom's gonna react to The Batman? What do you think? How do you think she's gonna feel about it?
I don't see that one being her favorite, Gabe,
No, I
personally.
don't. I don't either. But you know what? I love watching movies with her. I think she's gonna cover her eyes a couple of times. But she's always fun, and that's what I appreciate. Inside Man, we got down on Inside Man, and she's come into the room to give it two thumbs up. So Inside Man, well received. But the other piece of movie news, Tucker, and possibly a job for you,
I have
Luca
more
Guadagnino.
too,
Oh, you have more? Okay. Well, Luca
but go
Guadagnino,
ahead.
who made Challengers, a movie that Tucker loved, Queer, a movie that some are saying is Tucker's biopic. His new movie is American Psycho. He's remaking it.
I, why?
I,
Why?
are you saying why about the queer joke about the
Yeah,
American Psycho one?
no, no.
It was low hanging fruit,
It was, Gabe.
something that you might have a lot of experience with. I don't know. I'm just
Oh
saying.
my God.
Yeah, sorry. American Psycho. How would you feel about that? You and I are not crazy about the 2001 American Psycho.
I think American Psycho is one of the best character studies
Hmm.
that a movie has ever been. It's not a like the actual story is not that exciting and not
Yes,
that great. But I
I would.
think from a standpoint of like character acting and just diving into one person, it's one of the best of all time in terms of doing that.
Yeah, and so many people are on social media trying to speculate who should play. Patrick Bateman, and I've seen stuff like, oh,
It's
you
gonna
know
be
what?
Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, well, that's what I've seen. I've seen Jacob Lordy. I've seen Timothy Chalamet. I've seen Ethan Hawke. Tucker, all I'm saying is, if you want to have a killer, someone who's experienced with, you know, the idea of biting people flesh, who's worked with Luca Guadagnino before, why don't we get acclaimed cannibal Army Hammer? I'm just saying, he could do it, and he likes to eat dialogue, eat humans. I think it would go well. You said you have another piece of movie news. What is it?
I have that a certain ghoul
Yes,
is getting back in production in a few weeks from now.
certain ghoul.
Fallout Season 2 begins filming
Oh,
in November.
wow, they must have had two seasons written before they recorded
I
because
think I think they well it got renewed almost immediately when the show came out, and that was what now six
I
or
guess it
seven
was 6 or 7 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So time's kind of flown now that I'm thinking about it. And
This has been a quick month. or
Yeah.
a quick month, quick
Yeah.
quick back
How
half
was
of
it
the
already
year.
October 20th? Like what?
Mm,
I feel like October just started. This
you know
is
what they say? Time flies when you're miserable.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
Miserable in the sense that we haven't had many good movies to watch. Although
Yeah.
I'm willing to eat crow. Tucker, you said this like 3 months ago, and I am stubborn and don't like admitting when I'm wrong. I'm willing to admit it. This hasn't necessarily been a bad movie year. It's been
No.
an extremely back heavy movie year.
Yes.
I'm willing to eat my crow. You were right. I was wrong. I'm willing to
Thank
say
you,
it.
Gabe.
I'm a big enough man.
Thank you, Gabe. I
You're
I just
welcome.
I think the award season was really stacked to November this year.
Hmm.
And and then I think, it's just it I think you part of the difficulty for you is you have to watch all these horrible, horrible
Hmm. Yeah,
things.
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel
Yes, I
bad
do.
for you that you have to do this. And I
Yeah.
think it makes you forget about the good things that you
Hmm.
see. So
Hmm.
I'm happy that you're overcoming these hardships.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm doing a double feature of Venom and Conclave on Thursday. Tucker, are we calling this Conclenum or Vonclave? What are we thinking?
um, Von Clave. I like that one.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
Van Clave.
Ooh, that's even better. Wow. I mean, our marketing mind put together.
Yeah.
Um,
And then last piece of movie news, we got some really exciting news for this
mhm.
pod. The first major screening of Gladiator 2 has happened.
Yes. Yes, this is big.
It's
Quotes included absolutely epic,
yep,
sicko shit,
yep,
and engrave Denzel's name on the Oscar right now.
yep,
Those
yep.
are, and none of those came from my burner accounts. I haven't seen the movie yet, guys. Don't worry.
Is this one that I feel like you almost can't do a screener for this one.
They're
You
they're
got
not they're not doing screeners for Gladiator
okay.
2.
Okay. So you got to just go to the
Yes.
to the
I've already got it
IMAX.
plan I've already got it planned out. I've got the screenings I'm going to. There's 20 minutes in between them. I will be I will go to Wicked first, okay? I'll be in my black shrouds, green face paint, maybe a witch hat, but I don't want to block the person and, if someone's sitting behind me. I don't want to be rude. I'm going to bring a broom, obviously, so I can, fly around the theater. As soon as that's done, run to the bathroom, maybe be thrown up on again. It's possible, could happen, not writing it off. Then I'm going to put on my toga, get my Spartan helmet, maybe bring a sword. I don't know what kind of rules there are on bringing swords to the movie theaters. And I'm going to have my life be changed by Gladickid.
Good.
Look, we either
So
got
good
Gladickid or Gladiator. You got to
good
choose, man.
anecdote. I have a good anecdote here about the hats in movie theaters thing.
Hmm.
I often wear a hat or a beanie.
And you look great in all of them. You've got a head for hats
Yeah, like
and a
like
face for radio.
when I go to the movies back home, if it's a cold day, I like to be comfortable in the
Hmm.
movies. Theater is already a pretty cold place.
Yeah, I
So
sometimes I wear a ski mask, black hoodie. I'll do that when I go into people's houses to visit them. You know, I'm all for accessorizing. No, but continue, continue.
anyway, my dad and it was a cold winter night of 2019. I
Okay.
had either I think it was basketball practice that afternoon. I don't know why, because we normally would practice in the morning, but we went in the afternoon. And um, I I remember I had just gotten a new, can't remember if it was a Yankees beanie or some kind of beanie. I already knew I was going to Syracuse at this point, so I was loading up on the winter gear.
Hmm.
And we get to the movie theater, and I had my beanie on for like the first half hour of the movie. And I didn't pay it had the little ball on top. I didn't really pay it much mind. And I kind of adjusted my seated position. And this woman all of a sudden was like, "Can you please take your hat off?" And I was like, "What?"
Well,
I
Tucker,
I
actually,
I
I have a
didn't
story to.
understand. Like why would you wait so long to say such a thing? Like I was so shocked, and I felt horrible because I thought I was doing it the whole thing, and then I realized it was just because I adjusted my seated position because
Mhm.
initially probably all she could see was just the pom pom thing,
Mhm.
and then I adjusted. So not only a note to tall people at the movies,
Mhm.
but also a note to tall people who enjoy wearing a nice hat.
Mhm.
Uh,
Why
you
weren't you why weren't you looking at me when you said that? Do I not count as a tall person, or what's going on here? Why are you
Gabe,
excluding me from this?
Gabe, you believe me, you are taller than certain people I know
That's true.
that probably need a booster seat at the
Hmm.
movie theater.
Yes, yes. Dak. One might say. No,
No,
I'm just kidding.
he's quite tall, but
Oh,
another.
well, I was talking about this with my family. Man, I'm fat and short. I gotta pick one to feel bad about. I can't make myself feel bad about both of them. So, you choose your struggles, you pick your battles when you can. Um, Tucker, I do have a confession to make though. In 2019, I was actually at that movie theater, and you don't wear hats to church, right? It's just disrespectful. And one might say that movie theaters are my cathedral. So I actually dressed up as that old lady, and I was the one who told you to take your hat off. So we actually
Okay.
met 2 years before you think we did. No, but in all seriousness,
Wait, so what you're telling me is you ran a temporal pincer on me.
a little bit of a temporal pincer, a little bit of a Mrs. Doubtfire. Took a couple of things from I was working some magic.
Okay. Did Nolan consult on the temporal pincer?
Um, no, no, he didn't. I sent him an email and he said, "How did you get this? How'd you get this address? Please stop. Please stop messaging me. No, I don't want any pictures." So sorry, Chris Nolan. But anyways, Tucker, we kind of had been hearing rumblings about this movie, The Shadow Strays, right? Shadow Strays, screened at the Toronto Film Festival, and they do this little thing called Midnight Madness. And Midnight Madness is where the depraved movies screen, and it's a little separate part of the festival because this is not for everyone. The big headlining movie of Midnight Madness this year was The Substance, which has taken social media by storm. I feel fine about it. I don't think it's as smart and thoughtful as people think it is, but it's pretty gnarly, and I'll say that. Friendship, which is the Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd stalker comedy, screened at it, and then The Shadow Strays, directed by Timo Tjahjanto, who's this really interesting director, born in West Germany, grew up in Indonesia, went to Australian film school. So this guy has a lot of different inspirations and in this really bold, unique style. He directed this 2018 film that I love called The Night Comes for Us, which is just like one of the most sick, depraved martial arts movies in the world. Some guy gets like stabbed in the mouth with like what is it called? Like an X-Acto blade used to cut open boxes. So he then like turns his head and with the X-Acto blade stuck in his mouth, stabs someone else. And like I saw that and went, whoa, my life has changed. I mean, just you can only go up from there. And then he's doing Nobody 2, which, I loved the first Nobody. You and I are very, very excited for it. And so the Shadow Strays, all I knew was ninjas directed by this guy. And I was last night, my sister was playing D&D, most of my siblings were asleep. I was like, pretty great night to watch some ninjas. um I cannot describe how much the Shadow Strays is just like being baptized in blood, gore, and carnage. In the first 15 minutes, it is a non-stop, one-shot action sequence. Tucker, would you mind reading my Letterboxd review if you can get that pulled up while I describe it? Just so it's not all coming from my mouth. But what I would say is, if you like Mortal Kombat and the kick of the fatalities and everything like that, you'll appreciate this. Tucker, read it out, please.
The first 15 minutes of this movie feature an assassin planting a katana into the ground, grabbing a man by his ankles, and dragging him sack first into the blade. Simply put, it's a masterpiece of gore and carnage.
Mhm. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Does that get you interested to watch The Shadow Strays?
Yeah, I'll probably be checking it out, Gabe.
So in that same fight scene, a lady cuts off a man's arm, punches him with his own cut off arm. It only gets worse. Um, I will say this is not for like people with sensitive stomachs. There's many fingers being cut off and heads rolling and geysers of blood, and I was reveling in it. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it just is so sick. Ninjas are awesome. The plot I would say is relatively thin, not in a bad way. It's about a ninja named 13, who was part of this clandestine group of ninjas called the Shadow Strays. She doesn't have any memories. She doesn't even know her own name. She sees
It's
a
Jason
boy's
Bourne, but a ninja.
yeah, pretty much. It's Ninja Jason Bourne. Yes, she
Okay.
sees a little boy's mother get killed, kind of adopts the little boy and becomes a surrogate mother, older sister to him. He gets kidnapped and she goes out for revenge. And she gets her revenge. And it is gnarly and it rocks. The main character 13 is played by Aurora Ribeiro, who I had never heard of before. She has this great physicality. I believed her. It's kind of like we talk about John Bernthal played the Punisher. I was like, I believe he could walk into a bar with the baseball bat and put down 30 white supremacists. I believe this lady like could probably be a ninja if she wanted to. So really, really compelling movie, very well done, directed, like very well shot. I had it pretty low because I didn't want to wake my siblings up, so I don't know like if the score was good or anything. It's in Indonesian. I put on the English dub for about 3 seconds, and so far on Netflix, it's like genuinely 15 seconds behind. And I checked on my television, my phone, and my laptop, so I know it's not like just one thing having it. So the dub is pretty far behind, but like you're not watching these movies for the dialogue. You're watching it for someone to get like a nail bomb stuck down their throat, which does happen, and it's pretty sick. Tucker, I would recommend The Shadow Strays to you, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. And you guys know how I give my movie star ratings. I evaluate them on what they are. So, right, the Shadow Strays compared to Schindler's List, those are different 10 out of 10s. Schindler's List is this really thoughtful story of oppression and the human spirit. The Shadow Strays is about what happens when you give a pissed off ninja about unlimited bullets and many swords. They're both incredible at what they are, but they're different things. Does that make sense, Tucker?
Yep. Yep.
You made kind of a face when I compared
I just
Schindler's
didn't
List and
know. I
Shadow
didn't know where we
Strays.
were going there, Gabe.
Did I
And I
land the plane? I landed the plane. I
landed
know
the
what I'm
plane.
doing. I am Denzel in flight. The plane's gonna go upside down, but I am going to land it. Just trust me.
I'm drunk
That
now.
That movie rocks. John Goodman, Kelly Riley throwing 100 miles per hour. She is in it just whoa, what a force of nature. But Tucker,
John Goodman, that's one of his best cameos ever.
it really is. Oh man, that movie is so good. We're going to be drafting 80s action movies today. It's kind of this great juxtaposition between The Shadow Strays, which is sleek and modern and bloody, and these 80s action movies, which are like communists, bad. This is a heavily oiled man in the jungle, and he's got a machine gun. God bless Ronald Reagan. And it's like, it's kind of cool because action is this genre that, kind of like horror, has always responded to what is happening in the world, in good ways and in bad. In the 90s, when everyone was like cool hacker culture, we got the film Swordfish with John Travolta, Hugh Jackman, and Halle Berry. A movie that is just so aggressively 1999, where it's like, hold on, I'm getting into the code, and like flashing green lines of code are going down the screen. Very post Matrix. Is like, hold on, I've breached the firewall. And John Travolta's like, we gotta get in. And you're just like, what is happening? Or, the film Face Off, where John Travolta and Nicolas Cage take their faces off and then put the other person's face on, which some are saying is Tucker and I's biopic. And then in the 2010s, you get this like nostalgic boom of Expendables, and now in the 2020s, how would you characterize action in the 2020s, Tucker?
Experimental.
Yes, I would say that as well. Nobody's a pretty experimental film. John Wick Chapter 4 took a lot of risks,
Yeah. And,
and
and
I like
just
it.
like just like kind of, there's action movies that people are trying some new things, and we're getting occasionally those traditional kind of crap, B level action again, and it's selling. Like I think Plane last year is a great
Oh
example of that.
man, you know I love playing Tucker.
That movie did well,
It did
and
well.
it
Beast.
was yeah, yeah, yeah. Ambulance even like very straightforward, a little bit experimental,
Mhm.
but like kind of playing the hits. Michael Bay exploding things
Yeah.
with a couple gunfights spliced in there and some dad dialogue. It's
Zoom surgery. Okay, no, you have to reach in past the rib, and it's like,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm not doing that over Zoom. And you're right, because in the 2010s, that nostalgic boom where it's like, okay, we want to make Die Hard. What can we set it in? The White House, cool. White House down, and I'm not putting down White House down. I'll get down to that movie. You know I will, Tucker. Olympus has fallen. Also, Die Hard in the White House. Wow, that was a really easy plot to do. But I would say yes, these 2020 action films have been super risky and experimental. But let's go back to the simple, the easy action, the action that our dad showed us. And so the 80s, we talked about this in our golden ages of action movies episode, but that was the 80s and the 90s. We're just keeping it on the 80s this time. We're each choosing for Tucker. Can I ask you to flip a coin, please? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna say tails because tails never fails.
okay. It's flipping, it's flipping, it's
It's
flipping.
flipping.
It's heads.
Oh, would you like to give me the first pick anyways?
I would, you
Oh,
know?
you will?
Yeah,
Thank you. Are we
I'll concede.
snaking?
Yeah, we're snaking.
With four, we're gonna snake. Then we should do
I'm,
five.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We don't.
Okay.
Well, okay, five or four. What does it really make a difference if we snake? There's only two of
Oh,
us.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tucker, you've been crunching a lot of tape. Okay.
True,
When
I have
you
been.
tell me you have a draft idea, I look at every single thing that you put on Letterboxd, and I'm like, okay, he's definitely crunching tape. Um, okay, well, Tucker, if you will let me go first, I know what I'll pick. It'll be easy.
Okay, I'll concede. I'll let you have Die Hard.
I will be taking Die Hard.
Yeah.
Come out to the coast. We'll have a few laughs. I listen. Die Hard. It's the greatest Christmas movie of all time. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. John McClane, Nakatomi Plaza. He's got to save Holly McClane. He's got to get to the top. He's got to beat Hans Gruber, all without being caught. Die Hard, the first time you watch it, you're like, this is pretty stupid, right? There's this guy, he's being picked up, and his limo driver's like, hey man, you gotta make fists with your toes and all this stuff. And you're like, okay, this is a little stupid. All right, he's at his Christmas party. Wow, his wife is definitely cheating on him. You're like, this guy's kind of a loser. NYPD officer, this is gonna be boring. Then the terrorists take over Nakatomi Plaza. And John McClane's like, yeah, that's right. I'm gonna set everyone free, and he does, and it rocks. The best sequence in this movie, obviously, John McClane is barefoot and he's running over broken shards of glass, and his feet are getting cut up. Then he takes the fire hose and uses it to get down the building. Life changing stuff. And then obviously Alan Rickman cooking as Hans Gruber. Bruce Willis is just Bruce Willis shouldn't be an action star. He doesn't really like have the body for it. Obviously, like he's in better shape than I am, especially in 1988. But like he was a romantic television actor who was doing the show Moonlighting, which was just like sitcom. You would not really think of Bruce Willis as an action star. And this movie is like, oh no. He is not only an action star, he is the action star. And this the whole Die Hard boom, and even like Die Hard with a Vengeance from 1995, which has an opening scene that hasn't aged fantastically, but I still laugh every single time. It just kind of created this new wave and this new subgenre of action movie, which is Die Hard in a blank. Under Siege, Die Hard on a battleship. White House Down, as I mentioned, Die Hard in the White House. Am I missing any other ones, Tucker?
Um, Trying to think. I mean, you covered a lot of them.
We need Die Hard on a train. Why haven't we got that yet?
Uh, Bullet Train.
Oh yeah, well no, that's more like Pulp Fiction on a train.
Okay, all right.
Well, we'll get to work on Die Hard on a train, but I am glad to have Die Hard with my first pick because if I didn't have it, I would just get kind of sad and weird for the rest of the episodes. So it's good to have it locked down. What would you like to take? Oh, and we should mention we are not including Raiders of the Lost Ark because it's just like A, it's kind of the supreme. B, there's an argument made that it's not an action movie, it's an adventure movie. But also, mainly, we've just talked about it so many times. Look, I really love Indiana Jones. Tucker really loves Indiana Jones. When we saw a giant boulder almost crush a man, our lives were changed. There's only so much we can say about it.
I'm gonna take. I thought I was gonna take something else, and I think I'm gonna take this instead, just to kind of counter Die Hard. I'm gonna take First Blood.
Okay, great pick.
Um, I First Blood is it's kind of an awesome movie because it's really badass, and he really doesn't kill anybody.
No, he just
That's
proves that he could kill them.
yes, which is like holy shit, this guy is incredible. Like how does he do this? Um, Also just kind of solidified Stallone as the action star alongside Arnold, which kind of indirectly caused the Expendables to happen.
Yes, yes, and I'm very grateful. I now
Me too.
pronounce you man and knife.
Yes. Yeah, we earned that. We earned that. And I mean it's just it's got kind of this sneakily very interesting plot and character analysis of, huh, how do we make a badass action movie that's kind of a critique of the Vietnam War?
This is a
And
very thoughtful movie, actually.
yeah,
Also, maybe like shouldn't have been an action movie, but it just turned into one.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that given the time period and kind of the a lot of movies were very like action movies are very anti-communist, rah-rah type stuff. And this was a risk, and it works really, really well
Hmm.
just overall as an action flick. And has some really fun um supporting performances, especially from Brian Dennehy, who is the police captain, who just he's just getting outclassed by a commando or a Green Beret. He really doesn't stand a chance against against John Rambo. And I also think this movie is so funny juxtaposed with the rest of this franchise because it goes from PTSD riddled Vietnam veteran who doesn't want to kill people anymore to, oh, the second one. Oh, he's gunning down a lot
Hmm.
of Southeast Asian people. Third one. Oh, he is exploding Russian Apache helicopters now.
Yes, yes, he was.
Fourth one. Oh, he is these bodies are literally exploding in front of my eyes. And then Last Blood happened, and that
Yeah,
just
and it's the best one of all of them. I don't know what you want me to say. They killed his daughter. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna chop off a man's leg. He's gonna cut off a man's leg, and I don't blame him. One thing I will say, Tucker, is like the dialogue in First Blood does not need to go as hard as it does. There's
yeah.
the, are you telling me that 200 of our men against your boy is a no-win situation for us? And Colonel Troutman, who's just like, he is just Rambo's cheerleader. And he's like, you send that many. Don't forget one thing. What? A good supply of body bags. And you just like stand up and be like, oh, he's got him. He's got him. John Rambo's going to kill him off. First Blood, rocks. It's just Stallone with a bow and arrow and a knife. And he's going, nothing is over. Nothing. And you're just like, yeah, Stallone, I get it. I feel that way too sometimes. I understand.
It produced, I mean, it's one of the movies that is spoofed by one of my favorite um American Dad episodes ever. Are you familiar with the episode? What is it called? Hold on. It's an American Dad episode where Steve is supposed to sing the national anthem at a veterans event. Um, Shit. Oh, it's called In Country dot 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 Club is the name of the
Okay.
episode.
I will
Steve is
have to watch it.
Steve is supposed to sing the national anthem at a veterans group, but Stan he like wants to do it like Michael Jackson, and Stan wants him to have more of an appreciation for the veterans experience. So he takes him to a war reenactment that is a Vietnam War reenactment
Oh, okay. Cool,
at
cool,
the
cool, cool,
country
cool.
club where they spoof Platoon, they spoof Apocalypse Now, they spoof Rambo, and they spoof The Deer Hunter.
Okay,
And
well, I know what I'll be watching later, Tucker.
Roger is a pretends to be a Vietnamese person, so he can extract information from Stan to get the DVR password so he can buy Barbara Streisand does Celine. It's
Okay,
incredible. It's incredible.
okay. And this has been Tucker Describes American Dad episodes.
Yes,
A
yes. Okay.
new, a new rare segment coming to the show. Tucker, for me, I'm gonna run, go, get to the choppa, because I'm gonna obviously take Predator next. I mean, it's Predator. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger versus an alien, and the alien can turn invisible, and then you've just got like WWE wrestlers going, "You're hit, you're bleeding. I ain't got time to bleed," and I'm just like Jesse Ventura. There's a reason they elected you governor of Minnesota, sir. I would follow you into the wilderness and trust that if a bear attacked us, you would protect me. You've got, Dylan, son of a bitch, just all the most quotable lines in the world. You've got Schwarzenegger not really even speaking English. I would say like he's like 30% unintelligible in this movie. You get the whole fight in the mud and the explosion, and then they added the Predator to Mortal Kombat, and I was like, this is life changing. I was like 14 when that happened, and if something like that happens when you're 14, it like you just that's not something you ever forget. Um, and it's just like one of the things that works so well about Predator is they also manage to make it funny while being like not it's not horror. It is, people are being picked off
It's an
one by
action
one.
it's an action thriller.
Exactly. But it also manages, and a lot of it is because of Shane Black, it manages to be really funny. And it's just pure testosterone, machine guns, fights in the mud. It's Predator. It rocks. And they only made one other good Predator movie. I know people like Predator too. The only other good one is Prey. I'm willing to admit that. It's okay. But Predator rock exceptionally hard. Anything to add
Yep.
about Predator? Did I miss anything?
No, no, I think you
I thought
covered it.
this was going to be your first round pick. I was like certain.
No, no. I love Predator, but it was not my first round pick.
Okay, fair.
With my second round pick to counter your Arnold, I will do a little Arnold of my own and take Commando.
I thought you were going to take a Racer, which didn't even come out in the 90s, but
No, no.
your luggage.
Believe me, there's two the 80s Arnold we got Commando Arnold and Conan, and then 90s Arnold we get Super Spy and Cop Arnold with what do we get? True Lies, Eraser.
Mhm.
There's something else in there I'm missing, but
Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop. Fuck, I fucking love that movie. I need to
Yeah,
rewatch it
I,
soon.
I bet I bet you do.
Oh my God, I love Kindergarten Cop. I used to watch that so much when I was little, and it's definitely not for kids, but it's so entertaining. Anyway, um, Commando. Oh my God.
Does Commando have the greatest name for an action hero of all time?
John Matrix.
Is
Like
is that just that might be just the best action hero name of all time, honestly.
it's pretty fucking perfect. There's so much about this movie that's perfect. This might be the pinnacle of cheesy action because it's like you get montage of the bad guys killing people at the beginning and you're like, okay, this is cool. I like this. I don't know what's going on, but I like it. This guy, it's Bill Duke just assassinating people. And I'm like, oh, Bill Duke's a scary guy. He's serious. These bad guys mean business. Cuts to Arnold doing backyard activities with his daughter, shirtless, running around the woods. Like, okay, this guy's just the best guy ever. He's just a
And
great
it's
dad.
and her name is Jenny Matrix, so it's John
Jenny,
and Jenny
yep,
Matrix.
yep, yep. And it's just like, oh, I'm so happy for this guy. And then he's reading a magazine, and his first line of the movie is, "Why don't they just call him Girl George? Would make it easier." And I'm like, this is so 80s.
And
And
then he just this is the best Arnold one-liner movie. This is the
yes,
whole let off
it's
some steam,
yeah,
Bennett. And
yes,
then what is it? The oh I let them oh what's the oh the what did you do with Sully? I let them go.
yeah,
It's just he's cooking.
yeah.
He's
No, and
having
then
so much fun.
you're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm gonna kill you last. And then I think there's one, I can't remember what it is, but the one where he's on the airplane and he like kills the guy in one move.
So hold on. Oh, don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired.
Yes, yes, yes. He's dead tired.
Leave anything for
Let's
us?
see.
Just bodies. Come on, Arnold. I mean,
There's also the fuck you. The back and forth. That's a good
eh,
one.
it's wait,
I
you don't even have a
Bennett.
car. Now I do. After
Now
he
I
like
do. Yeah,
puts
yeah.
the
Pushes over the car.
and you're just like movies.
Maybe the best one. Don't break radio silence until they see me. How will I know? Because all fucking hell is going to break loose. It's just it. There's so many. Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's this one. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you, asshole. Come on.
Movies.
It's so
Movies.
good. Yeah, I mean, it has everything. It's got tremendous gunplay. You can tell Call of Duty. You know what a mark of a good action movie is? It's if Call of Duty steals at least four scenes from your movie and turns them
Hmm.
into set
Yes.
pieces in their
Yes.
campaign. And
I
they
will say the who's the guy who plays Bennett? Vernon Wells.
Vernon
There's a
Wells.
line when he shoots Arnold Schwarzenegger with a blow dart or something, and he goes,
Yeah.
"Payday!" And it's just the way he delivers the line has been burnt into my mind for like I'm 22 and it's been burnt in my mind for like 45 years. Just the way he goes, "Payday!" and shoots him in the stomach, and I was just like, "That's a interesting choice on how to read that line." Alyssa Milano plays Jenny in this movie. Big fan.
Yep.
So is Peter Quill. Commando is a great choice. Obviously, the plot makes no sense. There's
No,
a
it makes
kidnapping.
no sense.
There's an army. He
But the
is.
guy like is supposedly not he's been exiled from the country, but then they go to that country anyway. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I
It's
don't
in
really
Valverde, which Stephen E. D'Souza, who wrote this movie, he had the same name for all South American countries. It was Valverde. So
Mhm.
Commando, Die Hard 2, parts of Predator, it's just all Valverde. He was like, I don't know, I don't want to think of one.
So
Um
is there just a shared universe here between Commando?
apparently Predator, Commando, like honestly, is Dutch just John Matrix, just under a different name?
Could
He
be.
beat the Predator, and he's like, who knows? Um, but Steven D'Souza also gave us Three Ninjas, which is just cinematic masterpiece. So
Yeah.
I can't fight with him. Rocky Cole,
No.
Tum Tum, those
I
are my
mean, if
guys.
anything, that makes my view of the movie even better. That it's just he's
Yes,
consistent. I love it. Yeah,
he
I
knows
would
what he's
say
doing. He has a style.
top moment by far of the movie is the it's been memed now, but just when he's suiting up after arriving on the island, and he does the paint and the grenades get hung on his chest. It's so good. It's so good. This has a it has a good blend of gunplay and hand-to-hand combat, which I feel like sometimes action movies are overloaded one way or the other. And with Arnold, I feel like you gotta have both. Also love that the tagline for this movie was "Let's party."
That's incredible. It makes no sense, but it's incredible.
It's so good. Okay. All right, I'm sorry, Gabe. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'm gonna be taking another 1987 movie. Tucker, to you I say, dead or alive, you're coming with me. I'm taking RoboCop because it's
Okay.
RoboCop. Freeze, dirtbag. It's just Peter Weller. He's barely moving. Look, they took a man, they blow him up, and they're like, sure would be a waste of a man. What should we do? And instead of like giving him a beautiful funeral, cremating him, they're like, we should put this guy into a robot suit of armor and let him do heinous acts of police brutality. And everyone in America in 1987 was like, yeah, that's a genius idea for a movie. I mean, like that's incredible stuff. Um, RoboCop, yeah, Ed 209 blows a man's arms off in a conference room. It's great. And then they remade it in 2014, which is just a weird, strange
It's so
movie.
bad. It's so
Some,
bad.
Sometimes I like go back and rewatch that one, and I'm like, maybe there's some juice here that we've all forgotten. And no, Samuel L. Jackson just plays like he is pretty much Tucker Carlson. He's just like, the liberal media won't let me buy a nuclear bomb. Why is that? What do they want us to know about nuclear bombs? Michael Keaton is like kind of in the movie. Gary Oldman, look, even Geo wanted to get paid. That was the year he did Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And he was like, but I'd also like some money, please. And we're like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever.
We'll allow
But
it. We'll allow it.
but 87 RoboCop is it's a classic. Tucker, did you also have the experience of being shown this movie way too early? Because this is like
Yes. Yeah,
hard R. This is a pretty violent movie.
this one definitely was shown to me too early. And I honestly RoboCop's not my favorite. I'll be honest. I just it never like the story never resonated with me and
Well, of
I
course it didn't resonate you. You didn't have your body blown up and put into a robotic suit.
no,
That
I
was
know,
a
but it's also just like he he he's almost a little too unlikable for me. And it's like, yes, it's badass that he's a fucking robot and he's supposed to be a robot, but it's like, I don't know. It just kind of parts of it bug me a little bit, and I prefer it's almost not corny enough for me.
That's fair. It'll never be as funny as Roger Ebert's review when he was like, pretty good movie, had some issues with the performances. Peter Weller came off as super robotic, and I was like, yeah, man, that's
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 the
the
point.
that's the point of the movie. He's a RoboCop. So listen, Raj, know you were rating movies, but see that's the Chicago in him coming out. Like the little bit of stupidity. Where you're like,
Yeah.
Bobby, like what are you doing here? Like I don't know. RoboCop rocks. Sorry, Tucker. If it
I know. I think it's a good pick. It's just I would say I appreciate it for what it is. It's just not my favorite.
do you like RoboCop 4 when he miraculously like sprouts robo wings and he literally goes, I'm here to save the day. And you like Buzz Lightyear's and then drops down and what is he goes like, you have the right to remain dead, and then shoots the guy. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we took a little coke before we wrote this movie. Not as
Yeah.
much as Cobra, which I know you're gonna be taking next, Tucker. So I don't want to step on your toes as you tell the tale of Mary and
I will
Cobretti.
not take Cobra from you, Gabe. I am a little surprised that you haven't gotten your Gabe representation done yet.
Well, I have what I would like to take with my last pick. If you
Okay.
try and take the 1989 classic film starring Ray Tango and Gabriel Cash, I'm gonna have an issue with you. But you can. I'm not gonna be happy.
At some point, we're gonna have to rank Gabe representation films.
Okay, the best representation for Gabriel is Cliffhanger. That is Die Hard on the Side of a Mountain.
Okay.
Then it's Tango and Cash, which also has Sylvester Stallone. So he's 2 for 2 in that one. Worst Gabriel representation. Probably Gabriel in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
What, you're not siding with the entity?
No, I'm not siding with the entity, but I will say no one says it cooler than Ving Rhames at like the three-quarters into the movie. There's like a
The
briefing scene,
entity.
and
The
he goes,
entity. Ethan.
Ethan, Gabriel can't be beaten. Gabriel cannot be stopped. Don't kill Gabriel. Do not let him escape. And I'm like, Ving, the way you say my name, I was falling for him a little bit,
It tickles
Tucker.
your brain.
I was falling in love with the Arby's We Have the Meat guy, Agent Cobra Bubbles. I won't
Yeah.
lie.
Okay, I'm gonna be controversial here, Gabe. And if you want to challenge me on this, I'm okay with it.
You know I'm not afraid to challenge.
I'm gonna take Aliens.
No, I wasn't going to challenge you at all. I thought
Okay, okay.
that seemed like a pretty. It's an action movie.
That's what I say. It's a totally different movie than the first one. I mean, obviously, but it's like in terms of what it's trying to accomplish, it's a very different movie.
Here's why Aliens is an action movie. 90% of it leans horror. The final 10 with the giant robot suit and the get away from her, you bitch. That swings it to being an action movie.
Yes.
That would never happen in a horror movie.
No.
If I'm watching a
No.
horror movie and Sigourney Weaver comes out in a giant yellow suit and goes, yeah, she's doing this, doing the little crab hands, and she's gonna
There's
pick up an alien.
yeah,
Like if
what
they did
what's
that to Jason Voorhees, I'd go, nope, we're not watching this anymore.
what separates it for me is it's there's like four set pieces that are action heavy, whereas the first one there's really like one real action set piece that's not just like claustrophobic horror, and it's the end. But yeah, I mean it's definitely there's just more going on. You have so many like stereotypical 80s action heroes with Michael Biehn, and you got Paxton. Sigourney Weaver is kind of like the face of females, female lead in that kind of movie in that era. Um, it's just like it
Game
kicks
over,
out.
man.
It's
Game over.
game over, man. There's also a ton of sneaky one-liners a la
Hmm?
Game Over, man. And I give James Cameron a lot of credit. He's kind of the king of the action dialogue where he's not gonna lean too hard into the corniness of like a Commando, but he's got the perfect timing for dropping his action lines where it's like you can tell he's like, oh, they're gonna love this.
What's so funny is he's normally not corny with his action lines. The only time he's corny in one of his action movies is the dialogue during the strip scene in True Lies when Arnold's like, "Turn around for me, baby. Do it
That
slowly. Take your
that and
clothes
also
off." And you're like, "This is." I don't want to hear Arnold
Gabe,
Schwarzenegger say this.
I think you're forgetting that the climax of that movie includes "You're fired."
That's not corny. That's genius. That is the like Tucker when Arnold attaches a man to a missile and goes, "Guess what? You're fired." It is honestly, it's like salvation. You're like, this is it. It's a new world. It's a new life. Trade your old for new. Like
Game
you,
over, man. No, I'm gonna be saying that the rest
and
of
then
the day.
you've got the when they first meet Ripley and they're like, "We're heroes. You're a zero," and you're like, "Wow, this was all of the 90s
Yeah.
set on skate parks."
80s though.
Well, no, but 86 and then it lived on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People weren't skating in the 80s. In the 80s people were just like, god, Ronald Reagan's the president, guess we got to
Are
wait for
the
money to trickle down to us.
are the gun sounds in Aliens the best from that era in terms of just
Oh,
like
absolutely, because
being
it's
iconic?
the boot up noise. It's like the and then the guns are like ready.
Yes, yes.
And
Well, no, and then that's like what they sound like when they fire too.
it
It's
rocks.
it rocks for sure.
It
I would
rocks
say I
really
would say
hard.
sound wise, outside of Star Wars in the 80s, that's probably the best in
No,
terms of like,
no, the best sound in a movie in the 80s is The Untouchables. The
oh,
gunshots in The Untouchables, it
good point.
sounds like a
Good.
magnum is going off next to your ear.
Yeah, good
Not an
point.
action movie has a fantastic action sequence. The Untouchables is, I call it a western. It's a western set in the Midwest. It's a Midwestern. But like the baby carrier sequence in The Untouchables when there's like gangsters trying to murder a
That would be
baby.
that by itself would be an incredible short film.
It would be because there's just a baby and gangsters are shooting at it, and you're like, oh my god.
It
Al
has it
Capone
all.
hired some real bad guys.
Yeah, yeah. We'll throw that in as an honorable mention scene in terms of the
Yes.
best action scene of the 80s, because it's
Is
definitely
Do
that would
you
be in
like
my
The
top
Untouchables
10.
more than Blowout?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I have them both as tens. The thing about The Untouchables is like it came out in 87, but if you look at it, because it never received a 4K remaster. If you
Oh,
look at Aliens, Untouchables looks so much older than it. It
yeah.
just Criterion. Come on, please, please. I'm begging you. If anyone's listening, I want to go to the Criterion collection and go, okay, here's John Wick Chapter 1 remastered in Criterion. Oh, here we go. Here's The Untouchables. That's all I would like. Tucker, did we say we're doing 4 or are we doing 5?
Um, it's up to you. I
What?
I'm I could go either way because I think I have enough to go five, but I also I also could go just four if you want.
Okay, let's go 5 and we can make these last two a little bit quicker.
Okay.
With my fourth, I'm going to take Patrick Swayze versus the
Oh,
communists in Red
oh,
Dawn. I'm not taking
oh,
Roadhouse. I'm not
oh.
you thought I was gonna take Roadhouse. Listen, I'm
I
not.
did.
I'm taking Red Dawn, where
That's a
the
good pick.
the Russians. Now, here's the thing. Growing up, I really thought we were heading for a Red Dawn like any second. Like I was like, oh yeah, because they did the remake of it with Chris Hemsworth, and I was
Yeah.
like 8 years old when that came out, and I was like, oh yeah, the
So
North Koreans are gonna parachute down and kill us all.
my version of this, I was way less scared of that happening. I was really, I was really, really scared that 2012 was going to happen.
Oh yeah, no, that was
That
big.
was That was like the scariest thing for about 2 years of my childhood when that movie came out, and I did like the 9-year-old Wikipedia deep dive, and I was like, this is actually gonna happen. We're all gonna die. And I vividly remember there were like our local NBC affiliate did a story about it, um, like 2 days before New Year's, and I had a meltdown. I was like, we're all gonna die.
Well, the worst part about the whole 2012 thing was they were like, wait a second, no, we were wrong by 2 years. Now it's happening in 2014. So we're like, oh, it could happen again. The
I
Mayans
I
didn't count correctly.
I luckily I avoided that part of it. After we got through 2012, I was okay.
Okay, well, Tucker, let me break down the plot of Red Dawn, just in
Yes,
case
please
anyone doesn't know what
please do.
happens in this insane 1984 action movie. West Germany is like, hey, Europe, let's all get rid of our nuclear weapons. And then they're like, America, will you join us? And America's like, no, we're America. We're not giving up our military weapon, our nuclear weapons. So NATO stops being a thing. The Soviet Union is like, hey, we're gonna invade Poland, kind of like people did 40 years before. That never goes well. Cuba and Nicaragua takes over El Salvador and Honduras, and then communists take control in Mexico. So then we're in Colorado. Parachutes start coming down, and you're like, oh, it's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible Fallout. Everything's okay. No, it is not Mr. Tom Cruise. Do you know who it is, Tucker? It's the Russians, the Cuban, and the Nicaraguans, and they're gonna take people down. And so here are the names. You got Jed, Matt. I mean, the name Jed. Are you kidding me? Robert, Danny, Daryl, and Arturo. And they're like, yeah, we're children, and we're gonna stop the Soviets. They call themselves the Wolverines. They do like guerrilla warfare. The movie rocks so hard. It literally World War III happens. It's Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Charlie Sheen. It rocks. Tucker rocks so hard. Powers Booth is in this, and like most people, you only know Powers Booth from one or two things. You know him from Red Dawn, or you know him from Tombstone. I know him from both, and I love him in both. Um, I will say the Red Dawn remake, the kids do have better chemistry, but what's so funny is Chris Hemsworth, obviously, he's a very charming guy. No one is ever going to be as charming as Patrick Swayze. Swayze is just like the king of charm and charisma. And so Hemsworth was like, okay, if I can't be as charming as Swayze, I'm going to play him completely stoic. And that's like the biggest issue with that movie. The Red Dawn remake does feature beloved, in quotes, child actor Josh Hutcherson jumping on the counter of a Subway and pointing a pistol at them, going, "Fill the bag up with bread. Put the bread in the bag," which kind of became like a joke amongst my family. But the '84 version of Red Dawn, I think some Republicans watch it and they're like, "This is actually really going to happen." Okay, the Koreans are going to fly over with their parachutes and take over the country, and I'm ready. And I would just say, in a Red Dawn situation, we have time. They're parachuting down. Boom, they're in the air. Take care of them. That's all I'm saying. Tucker, would you join my Red Dawn group though? Would you be one of my Wolverines if the parachutes start dropping?
Yeah, I would. I would.
Also, like this, the children of this generation are so like brain dead to go, "Oh, you're jumping from the battle bus. Where are we landing, boys?" Like if Red Dawn happened, so we're cooked.
We would make our stand in Milwaukee.
Listen, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
And all we would need is like for the snow to be falling so we could like have our like really great death scene, like our blood pouring on the snow. We're
yeah.
just like glad to die alongside someone like you. I mean, it's a key. What are you taking next, Tucker?
Tough pick. I think we got to continue the Swayze wave and take one of the most all-time vibe movies ever, proved by its pretty inferior remake, but still vibey as hell.
Dalton, come out to
Roadhouse.
play.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
It's it's just like
Tucker,
Swayze's so fucking cool in this movie.
have you ever ripped out someone's throat? You have to tell me yes or no.
I have not. I have
Did you ever
not.
try it on Carl? Did Carl ever try it on you?
No, no, we can't say we've ever gotten that
Hmm.
close to killing each other.
Okay.
Swayze's so fucking cool. We got we got Sam
Sam Elliott.
Elliott in here too. What's there not to like? It's it's produced again another Family Guy slash American Dad classic where Peter just runs around and Roadhouse kicks everything and then says Roadhouse because why not? Why not? And
Tuck,
yes, Gabe,
can I please read you the greatest fact of all time that I just learned?
you please.
So, Tucker, you talked about how Roadhouse was remade earlier this year with, Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor. However, that was not the first adaptation of Roadhouse. There was an off-Broadway play adaptation of Roadhouse. Ran from December 14th to February 8th. It was all the additional dates were canceled. The creator stated, "This is not a musical. We're calling it a brawlsicle. Trust me, I know what kind of film this is. I want to get to the bottom of why so many seemingly smart people can quote lines from this film." The official title of the Broadway production was, are you ready for this, Tucker?
Yes.
Roadhouse, the stage version of the cinema classic that starred Patrick Swayze, except this one stars Timock from the '80s cult classic The Last Dragon wearing a blonde mullet wig.
Wow.
And they said Spotlight the Musical sounded preposterous.
Yeah, they did.
Roadhouse on Broadway. Very
That's
fun.
incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, it has a very fun blues soundtrack, which is cool. I feel like the music is good throughout. And it's just a cult classic, kind of. I mean, it's you're not gonna watch this and be like, wow, what a masterfully crafted piece of cinema. You're gonna be like, that's a damn good time. And I would love to watch this and have a few Coors Lights and just fucking enjoy myself thoroughly.
What about some? This movie screams Miller High Life, the champagne
Okay.
of beers.
Yeah, we could have some champagne and beers.
Oh man, he rips the guy's throat out. I
He rips
mean,
a fucking guy's throat out.
I the shotgun and the
He made jeans cool.
also I started showing this to my little brother. You forgot how many boobs are in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of
He's like,
boobs.
whoa, that is a lot of naked women. Hold on a second.
They brought back the boobs from the 70s for this one.
Yeah, and we're not. Look, this was look at me, two hands up. That's all I'm saying. Roadhouse Tucker, phenomenal pick. If you asked me to describe the plot of it and we're like $100, couldn't do it. Could not do it. He's like a philosopher and a poet and also a master of the martial arts.
And a bouncer.
And he's a bouncer. And only person who could pull that off is Swayze, right? Like
Yeah,
if that was Andy Garcia, I'm like, no, this I don't believe. If this is Al Pacino, he's going, brother, I will rip your throat out of your neck, goozle. I'm just like, come on, Al. This isn't for you. But Swayze pulled it off.
he did.
Tucker with my last pick. I'm taking the story of brotherhood, of an alliance, of a partnership, what it means to trust someone and to be trusted. The story of Tango and Cash. Look, yeah. Does Tango and Cash make any sense? No. Was it the last movie released in 1989? Yes. Do people believe that this movie is deeply cursed? Yes, they do. All well and good. Does it star Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone as Raymond Tango and Gabriel Cash? Two cops who get framed, and they're from the west side and east side of LA. And they are gonna beat Yves Perret, who's a drug dealer. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Sylvester Stallone is a this is how the Wikipedia describes him, and Tucker, I'm willing to bet this was written by Stallone. Ray Tango is a slick, refined detective who trades stocks on the side. He wears three-piece Armani suits, drives a Cadillac Elante, and carries a Smith & Wesson Model 36. And then Kurt Russell's character only gets like one detail where it's like he's got cowboy boots with built-in shotguns, which is the best part of this movie, and it's the best representation for people with my first name. Like, I'm sorry, if you give me a pair of cowboy boots with shotguns, Tucker, would I probably blow my own toes off? Yeah, I'd find some way to do it. Or I'd be Batman, one of the two, and it would rock. Um, the sexual politics of this movie, insanely strange. Kurt Russell or Sylvester Stallone kind of seems like he wants to bone his sister because he was having an affair with the person who plays his sister in this movie. That's not good. You shouldn't do that. It makes it feel uncomfortable. Brigitte Nielsen, it's a little strange, not gonna lie. But the movie rocks. It rocks really hard. And I need shotgun cowboy boots. Your dad seems like he would like Tango and Cash. Does Larry enjoy this film?
Yeah, he enjoys Tango and Cash for sure.
The prison break in it is like the best part. Oh man, I gotta rewatch that one. That's a good one. So
What's going
very
on?
glad to have those.
And it wouldn't be an 80s action movie without Ron Howard's funny looking brother being in it.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Clint.
Weird looking guy.
He's he's a really silly looking fella.
Just like kind of deformed, honestly. And it's like, and
He
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 plays.
actually honestly his takeoff was in the 90s now that I'm looking at it. He
Yeah, I mean, he's in
he
Waterboy,
was
Apollo
in
13.
uh, Gabe, he was in one, two, three, four, five, six, seven movies in 1995 and probably played the exact same character in all seven movies.
His movies in 1995 are Fist of the North Star, Ice Cream Man, Forget Paris, Digital Man, Apollo 13, where he plays Cy Liebergott, who he looks nothing like, Not Like Us, not the Kendrick Lamar song, but that'd be really cool, and Twisted Love. But he's still a weird guy. 94 was a better year for him because he's in Leprechaun 2 and Bigfoot, the Unforgettable Encounter. So, Clint Howard, what a great character actor. It's a good time.
Yep. Okay, last pick for me.
Yes, your last pick.
I have a feel this is tough. I do I want to win. I feel like I haven't won a draft in months.
Look, I'm a draft savant. That's all I'm saying.
What will the people appreciate?
The people would appreciate you picking Tango and Cash again. And you take Tango and I take Cash.
To counter your Tango and Cash pick, I'm gonna take the better buddy cop comedy of the 80s. Give me Lethal Weapon. Give me
Is
Mel. Give me Danny.
it is better, but it is less fun.
Give
Will
me
you agree on
Riz.
that?
Give me Murtaugh. I think it's very fun. I think they might they might be the best buddy cop duo, honestly, in terms of movies.
We
It's
did an
tough.
entire episode on this. I think it's Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. But these guys are kind of the trendsetters.
Richard
No,
Donner, the director of Superman, was just like, "Yeah, I'm getting mullet Mel Gibson and a falling apart Danny Glover." And it's funny because he's like, "I'm too old for this shit," over and over. He's 40.
yes, yes.
You're not that old, man. Um, and they're making Lethal Weapon 5, and he's still going to be going, "I'm too old for this shit." Pack it in, man. You're 41. He was 41 when he made that movie.
Yeah. And honestly, Mel Gibson is excellent in this movie.
Yeah.
He's he's
What other stuff do you think Mel Gibson is excellent in? Passion of the Christ, some audio tapes that were leaked in 2005. Just what else do you like him in?
signs.
Yeah, he's gonna sign Braveheart. You seem like a big Braveheart guy.
Yeah, I enjoy Braveheart, Mad
You ever
Max,
you ever want to kill
The Patriot.
Passion of the Christ?
Not in that, just directed it.
Hmm. Okay. Would you like it more if he was in it? If he played Jesus, how would you feel?
That would be something.
Okay. Good
I'm
job not falling into the trap. I set it up well.
I'm not going there.
Sure. Do you like Gary Busey?
Gary Busey was a great Steven Seagal villain.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Gary Busey was once nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor. That's something that should have never happened.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So, okay, Tucker, keep sharing. Keep sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's a classic buddy cop film. I don't really know. I feel like we've talked about Lethal Weapon a lot. It's a good dichotomy of characters. We got, you know, very very unhinged Mel Gibson who just plays very well with the buttoned up old guy that doesn't want to do this anymore. And you know a movie is successful when they make four sequels
Yeah, no,
and a spin-off TV show. Like
that is true.
you know you got some chem there. And honestly, the second one is good. The second one is very good actually. The third one is fine. And then the fourth one is where it really just goes downhill. But the fact that the first two are entertaining enough, sorry, um, that goes to show that you got a good duo. So yeah, I mean I think Lethal Weapon is great. I think I have a strong five here. And I probably won't win because I never win. And yeah.
Really quickly, Lethal Weapon, great. Gary Busey was once in a movie called The Ginger Dead Man, where he plays someone named Millard Findlemeyer, who also is a serial killer made of gingerbread, known as the Ginger Dead Man. So just wanted to share that with you, Tucker. Um, it the the tagline for this movie was "Evil never tasted so good." So I just wanted to share, see if you had seen the Ginger Dead Man. Tucker, fantastic drafting with you. Do you have a draft? Not a draft pick, a streaming recommendation you recommend to the audience tonight?
No, just go watch The Penguin with me. That's what I'll be watching, folks.
Penguin.
After
Penguin is very good. I think for me, I have to recommend just a stone cold classic Disney movie that is well animated, has good music, and like they just don't make it like they used to. Mulan, 1998. I was watching it the other night because I was like, man, I haven't seen Mulan in a while. It just it works really really well, and I'll make a man out of you and Reflection and all those beautiful songs, and I just think it's a very fun movie. So, girl worth fighting for. Tucker, you are a girl worth fighting for. Just
Thanks,
just
kid.
to make sure you know that. Go Raiders, go Packers. Let's hope the Nashville
We
Predators can
we don't we
go.
don't we don't need to talk about the first team ever.
Oh, we're not talking about. Hey, Brock Bowers is doing well for me in fantasy. That I
No,
don't have the game on.
no, it's just bad, 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 bad.
Bad, bad, bad. Well, go Yankees. Tucker, thanks for recording. And audience, we'll see you next time on another episode of Serious Cinema for Unserious Men.